so much more a coffee bean gives you than just that bitter caramelized taste.
Exactly.
And you realize it once you actually start having that coffee,
Correct.
that true to its essence origin coffee.
Correct.
And it's the funny thing is it's not even that as expensive as you would
Yeah,
expect it to
it's
be, right?
not. I mean, like a 50 gram jar of Nescafe costs 150 rupees, which is 3 rupees a
Yeah.
gram. While a third wave coffee, so for example, we're gonna a little while later, we're gonna actually brew a third wave
Yeah,
coffee
like
on the
genuinely
spot,
on this podcast, you'll
right?
hear us brewing a coffee
Brewing
and
coffee, right? Like from the
yeah,
start to the
from the
end,
start to
and
the
we're
end,
gonna
and
taste it,
taste it and give our reactions
give
to
our
that
reactions,
particular
right?
coffee.
Like I'm
Like,
biased, but this dude over
I have
here,
no clue about all
he
this.
might hate it, he might like it, we don't know.
I mean, I
Uh,
see. I'm open to experiencing it for
right,
sure.
but he's gonna be honest.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'll be
Right,
honest.
so third wave coffee isn't really that expensive. I mean, something like a Landor coffee, which is what we're going to be tasting later, which comes from Missouri, is high altitude coffee.
Mm-hmm.
It 250 grams cost me a little less than 500 rupees shipped to my
Yeah.
doorstep, which is
Yeah.
which is a little less than 2 rupees a gram, right? So there is a difference in the price point as well. So while I'm mentioning Missouri, let's also get into the discussion of high altitude coffee and low altitude coffee,
Right.
right? So the one
And
thing,
again, I
yeah.
would love to learn more about
Yes.
this. What was the true difference between like?
So the one thing you
why
want
is
to
it
know
different?
about is that lower altitudes, when coffee is grown in lower altitudes,
Yeah.
usually the mixture of gases in the air, which is
Right.
basically most of it is nitrogen, and then you have oxygen and carbon dioxide,
Mhm.
is pretty dense. So for the coffee plant to breathe, it's pretty easy. And what it does is you have a very different kind of taste coming from low altitude coffee.
Right.
But if you've ever done trekking, or if you've gone hiking and gone up a
like
hill,
I've gone up,
you know it
those
becomes more
mountains,
difficult to
yeah,
breathe,
yeah,
right? So as
it
you
is.
go up, what you have to do is something called anaerobic respiration, where
Yeah.
you're not taking in as much oxygen as you want, so your body produces something called lactic acid.
Lactic acid, yeah.
So the same thing happens with the coffee plant, and because of the lactic acid buildup, the coffee over there would taste very different. So there's no rule of thumb, but usually high altitude coffees have a fuller body, because let's just put it that way, that the coffees worked harder,
To make
to
it
grow.
yeah.
right? And lower
Fair.
altitude coffees might not have
They had
a
that
very
comfortable
full body,
growth.
but they have a very familiar taste.
Yeah.
Like that's coffee as you know it.
So I mean, I think each one of those coffees would have their like specific taste and speciality, and I'm sure each
Correct.
tastes like really
Yeah,
nice on their own way.
And there are different takers for each of them.
I'm
All
quite sure, yeah.
right. So that's really difference between high and low altitude coffee.
Yeah.